Hop onto the shuttle bus this week as we discuss part one of our Maybe I'm Dreaming discussion. We are your hosts, Faith and Sapph. Welcome to Shuttle Bus Podcast. Good evening. Welcome to the shuttle bus as we start our discussion on Maybe I'm Dreaming. This week we will be discussing On the Wing, Rainbow Veins, and Super Honeymoon. Sapph, would you like to kick off our discussion on the Wing, the first song on tonight's list?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about On the Wing, right? Is that right?
Yes. That is the
Okay.
yes.
Um, so I know it's two time like we're nailing this tonight, man.
We're a
Yeah.
bit tired.
Yeah, absolutely. So On the Wing. There are two versions of On the Wing, and they're both very similar, and that is what my first point is about. I think there's a longer introduction that I noticed on this one, but it's also on Ocean Eyes, and it's kind of the same thing like we discussed last time with Hello Seattle and how you have to kind of compare the two. Obviously, it's much less polished on this version, but I don't know. I didn't mind the longer introduction. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, yeah. It is slightly longer, I believe. I see, like, for me, like, obviously the difference between Hello Seattle on Of June and Hello Seattle on Ocean Eyes is, like, way bigger difference than the two different On the Wings, but there is still a difference. Also the same with, like, Saltwater Room, which we'll discuss later in another episode. But yeah, that's another one that has, like, two different versions, and, like, there are differences between the two, but it is, I think, less noticeable between those two than it is between, like, Hello Seattle. Yeah, Hello Seattle. On both of those albums that it appears on. But yeah, it's one of those things I did go and, like, listen to both to see if it was, like, super noticeable, like, what kind of differences I could pick up on, and I found it pretty similar, but I also didn't examine it too close, to be fair. Um
I'm absolutely with you on that. I also did not examine it super duper close. So I feel like to us it might be different from our opinions to somebody who actually is in the music industry. So especially for Adam, the way he mixes things and the way different projects come out, especially with the older ones, he doesn't really recycle a lot of stuff anymore. Um, but I'm sure from somebody in his background, it would sound a lot different than it does to either of us. But I don't know. I just thought it was kind of interesting that it's a little bit longer. It's almost like you still have a little bit of that Of June energy left because he talks about, or he doesn't talk about. What am I on? It's more of it's more of that longer intro. Like he's still in his phase of um, instrumentals. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, you go ahead.
I yeah. I do like it. It is less I like you about it being kind of less polished, I guess. And it is slightly, like, less polished. But yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I do like the longer intro. It is nice. The intro is beautiful. It is one of the I will say, as we're on talking about the intro, that was actually kind of one of my points as well, was it is one of the most beautiful things ever in any Owl City song that I believe exists. Like, it is one of the most beautiful pieces in any of Owl City songs. One of the most. It's like top whatever number. I don't know what number to give it because I don't know. But that's aside the point. It's very pretty. I really like it. Whatever that sound is at the very beginning, and then I don't know how to describe the sound, but then that sound, that, like, wobbly sound, and then enters, like, the warm synth. It's very well put together. So yeah, that was It's hard to get out, but on this,
You got the
just
point.
not computing with my mouth.
You got the point across, and that's all that matters. And it makes sense to me. I know what you mean because there's kind of like a fuzzy, fuzzy in the
Now
background, if
that
you will. Uh,
that little sound,
oh,
that's the exact yes.
yeah, yeah, that. Very technical here.
That's
um,
the entertaining thing about this podcast is neither of us are know anything about music like technically, like the technicality of music. So the way you will hear us describe things is like, very I find it personally entertaining.
I hope somebody else does too, other than us two, because I also find it very entertaining. But even if nobody else does, it's a lot of fun.
Let's
It's
are
so much
entertaining each
fun.
other. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah. This is how we interact with people. Like this is our dose of people, if you will. um, yeah. So I kind of noticed that there's more auto tune and softer vocals, if you will. I guess it's almost like an airbrush. If you took an airbrush and you kind of just like fuzzed out, if you will, because I said fuzzy earlier. Um, you kind of like fuzz out the edge of whatever his vocal is. It's a lot more keyed to the auto tune, and obviously he changes as he gets closer to Ocean Eyes. He gets slowly less and less and less of that auto tune, but um, I don't know. He uses it really creatively here, and you can already tell that he is really improved from of June. So I enjoy that part.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of improvement between Of June and Maybe I'm Dreaming, which is just it's so cool to listen to both of those albums back to back to hear that change. But I will say, our points are like I don't know, I haven't read really any of your points for tonight yet, but like our points so far for On the Wing are like spot on, like matching each other's because my next point also had to do with the vocals. Um So I was listening to On the Wing because it is, well, one in preparation for this podcast, but also it's just a very beautiful song. And lately, every time I sit down to listen to an Owl City song with the intention to examine it specifically for these podcasts, I'm reminded how much I love Adam's voice. Plus, the autotune mixed with his voice is just perfection. He does the autotune like, I don't know what it is about his voice and the way he does autotune, it mixes so well to create this very unique, warm, fuzzy sound. It's like it's perfect. He does it really well, and I enjoy it a lot, like a lot. And it's cool to hear his more like natural voice as his albums progress, and he steps away from the like the super heavily processed auto tune, like the warm out. It's cool to hear him use less and less auto tune, or like a less processed sounding auto tune, the more and more albums he like works on and comes out with. So it's really cool. Like you can listen to like Goku Moon, or even like I was listening to All Things Bright and Beautiful today, and like it's less processed sounding his voices, and that's really cool to hear that like more natural voice of his, but it's also just really cool how he uses autotune like you were saying. He does it really well.
I couldn't agree more. Um, less process. That's a really really good way to put it, because as he goes along, he kind of stops leaning on that, and it's not to say it's a problem because the way he uses it, it really gives a different vibe to the song, right? So for On the Wing, and we'll get on to Rainbow Veins in a little while, it's almost like it fits that 8-bit kind of vibe that Maybe I'm Dreaming gives. And a lot of the other songs have it too. So I don't know. I think he did really well with using it. I am glad that he kind of, leans away from that as he gets farther and farther in his skill as a singer. But it really is something wonderful that you don't see a lot of people do. And of course, Adam Al City, his entire um, image, I guess, like was created on this kind of wild, wacky style that nobody was doing at the time. So it really revolutionized some things. So yeah, I don't know. It was really nice. So I can't get away from the lyrics ever. Um, and this one is really long, so normally I would just like chop this down into little snippets, but I can't. It's too good. Uh, Below the northern lights, I spend my coldest nights alone, awake and thinking of the weekend we were in love. And of course, it's it's so cute. It's so sweet. It's so adorable. It's just like I feel kind of bad for the guy because that might mean that it's a like lost love, like the relationship broke up. It was like a whirlwind and then it broke up. But at the same time, it just shows that he has this emotion, that he just has these really fond memories, and I it's so sweet. I feel like a lot of people have a memory they think of, whether it was like actually a romantic relationship or not. You just think of it really fondly, and you realize, oh, I'm sad that that happened, and or I'm happy that happened, but I'm sad that it, went by fast.
Yeah. It's yeah, the lyrics in pretty much all of Maybe I'm Dreaming are like all amazing lyrics. I don't think he had a bad song on this album. Not that Owl City has many bad songs, maybe except for Panda Bear, but not that it has many bad songs. But really, this album was like one good song right after another. Um, but the lyrics in this song, I love On the Wing so much. Like, but I was listening to it and like I don't know, I've been trying to like pinpoint lately when I listen to his songs, like what kind of vibe, I don't know if that's the right word, but what kind of vibe are we getting from this song? Like what he doesn't really tell specific stories with his songs, like especially this early on. He's not telling specific stories and narratives, but there is usually some type of story undertone or like a story vibe that he's trying to get across. And like on one point it's like, "Oh, it's such a cute little love song that's so cute," kind of like the lyric you were just talking about. But on the other hand, it's also kind of sad, like you were just saying, because there's a lot of talk about being alone in like not sure if they are actually there, like the person they love, if they're actually there, or are they dreaming this? Is it just their imagination? Is this love real? Is that person real? Like, I'm, so it's like he loves somebody, but like he's not sure if whatever is going on to whatever extent, I don't know, but it doesn't feel real to him, or like he has to question the reality of what's going on, which is interesting. Just interesting. A deep dive. I want to do a deep dive in that one day. Maybe it's about a ghost. I don't know.
Oh, it could be about a ghost. Who knows? Why are our points so together this time? They are so close.
Yeah, we're like it's kind of creepy.
This is getting really weird. What are we, twins somehow? I mean, this is like, oh my gosh, it's Hoot Owl telepathy.
Yes.
It's Hoot Owl telepathy. Oh my gosh. Oh, that all over again. That was such a big thing. Like little random tangent, but that was such a big thing in the fandom for ages. Just because there was like several occasions where two or three of my friends like had the exact same like deja vu at the same time, and then
Oh wow.
Hoot Owl telepathy became a thing. So we're just somehow Hoot Owl telepathy-ing right now. Um.
We're
So
putting our little owl brains together.
owl brains. Oh, that's cute. Uh. Okay. So I love the drums. Uh. There's more drums towards like the I am floating away. Like towards that bit, it kind of becomes cluttered, but it's not unappealing. It's really nice. I feel like that's another one of those like key differences um, with this one and the polished version, because the polished version has less of that, but they're more intentional. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's really interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was just production styles. It's
It
kind of
is,
interesting to
yeah.
compare.
It is pretty cool. I was just thinking, this is random, has nothing to do with my next point, but just a little extra random thought. So I feel like of June was his start. Was the Owl City like start? But I feel like maybe I'm dreaming is the Owl City origin story. It's where he really started defining his Owl City sound. It's the Owl City origin story.
The origin story. This is where it all began, Faith.
Like yeah, he started with Of June, but like
Oh
he's
my
really
gosh.
becoming Owl City with Maybe I'm Dreaming.
We went back to the future for real.
Yes. Is this the future? Is that what the song's called? Did I just like
This
butcher
is the
that?
future. Yeah,
This
this is
is
the
the
future.
future. It's not a question. It's a statement.
This is the
This is the
future.
future.
This is the future. We are from the future.
I love how I try to name songs and I just show how bad of a fan I am by butchering song names like almost every episode.
Oh, that's not true. You're the ones with the history knowledge. You've got
Yes,
all the
but name
history knowledge. I have the name knowledge. You have the history knowledge.
very, we have to have our strengths. We gotta each have a pillar that holds up the podcast.
Exactly. Like you do the intro,
I
I do
have
the
the
outro. That's how
random
it
tidbits
works.
that I probably shouldn't know because it's bordering on stalkerish, and then you know actually like the song names and like a little bit more technical terms than I do because you know what a bridge is and I don't.
That's kind of a thing you just pick up from other songs and music and studying lyrics. That's all it is. I don't know from experience. I have none. No experience whatsoever.
Yes, but you have the knowledge at least.
I've written like one parody and that's it, and one original song, and neither of them were very good.
Well,
But
one parody's more than any parody I've written. Actually, I feel like I've written a parody before. I I've mentally written a parody to Dinosaur Park, but that's neither here nor there. Um,
ooh, gonna have to hear more about that later. Go ahead with your next point.
yes, let's actually get things moving along. I have sidetracked us long enough. So I'm gonna continue on with the lyrics because one of my favorite lyrics in this whole song, like it's such a good song, so it was hard to pick out like, oh, what's my favorite line? Because they're all really good. But I think this particular line is like my favorite, which is the one, are you there or are you just a decoy dream in my head? Am I home or am I simply tumbling all alone? That's like the best to me. That's like the best lyrics. Like it's not only the best lyric on the song, it's like one of my favorite Owl City lyrics in general. It's just
That's
really good. I really like that song. Like this is one of those lyrics that I listen to that song to hear that line because I like that line so much.
that line is really good. It's fun. I don't know, the cadence of the way he says things in this song, it's
Yes.
golden. I don't know, it's beautiful. Um
It's just perfect.
it's just
Perfection.
amazing. It really is. Uh I like the harmonizing synth for sure. It's higher than the oceanized version, so it's more dancey, and I kind of like it. I'm kind of here for it, you know. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the song.
Do like the danciness. Like, you know, it's maybe I'm dreaming is way more dancier and way more fun and exciting than Of June. Not to say that I don't like Of June. Of June is great, but like I don't know. Maybe I'm Dreaming is a really good album, and Of June has Panda Bear, so that doesn't have it going for it. Sorry, I kept poor Panda Bear is really getting dragged through the mud. But if it
Yeah,
has fans, I
I
apologize.
apologize to all the Panda Bear fans. Rest in peace. But anyways, we're on Maybe I'm Dreaming, and I personally think that it's the better album of a lot of a
Most
lot of them.
albums,
A lot of them. I have a very strong opinion on that. So, but we'll save that for the ending of this.
yes.
Alrighty. So what is next?
Rainbow Veins. What is
Ooh.
your I don't know. What is your first point for Rainbow Veins? I gotta find my notes. So you
Oh.
can start off your point.
All right.
I feel like our
Uh,
points might be the same.
fun xylophone introduction made me very happy, and it has a lot of great synths for sure. Um, it just kind of gets you hyped for the rest of it. I don't know. It sounds so distinct from the rest of his Owl City songs. I wouldn't say there's anything that has quite the same vibe to it, you know? It's
Yeah.
certainly a crowd favorite for sure, but I don't know. It's just there's something different about it, and I think part of it is in the magic of those synths at the beginning.
Yeah, I know Rainbow Veins is a personal crowd favorite for you. It is one of your favorites off of this particular album. I know you hold Rainbow Veins in high regards.
Oh yeah, very much so.
So
It's a good song. I appreciate it, and I have some good memories to it. So
so in the beginning, gosh, that sounded
in
like I'm
the
getting ready to read.
beginning.
It was like I'm getting ready to read the Bible. It's not what I meant. But at the beginning of the song, he uses like when he start not the instrumental part beginning, but like the lyric beginning of the song. He uses some kind of filter. I don't know what the term is for it, but a filter over his voice at the beginning, and I really like it. He's done that in a few songs. I think maybe Dental Care is another one he's done it for, but he uses some kind of like filter thing over his voice, and it sounds really cool. It's like a muffly filter and like a grainy
Oh,
filter. I really don't know how to describe it, but
it's
it sounds really cool, and I really appreciate when he does it because it just like adds an extra cool layer to the song, and he like uses it like a second time throughout the song, like somewhere in the middle or something. But yeah, I like the filter. I like when he does stuff like that.
yeah, same here. It's almost like it's coming out of an old radio in a way. That's
Yeah,
the best way I could describe it. I don't know. It's really cool. He may do it in Early Birdie too. I can't remember. It's been a little while
he
since I've listened to
might.
that song. Um,
Yeah, he does do it on Early Birdie in
I
certain
think
parts.
he does do it in Dental Care too. He does, in that first line specifically. Um, but it does sound really cool.
I appreciate when he does it. As if he's doing it specifically for me, you know?
He's doing it for his all his fans, so that does include you for sure. As long as we enjoy it, that's all he cares about. Um,
Right.
I really like all of the lyrics. There's two in particular. So, wide-eyed panic on the getaway, and a popular gauge will measure the rage of the new postmodern age. I can almost like I can't quite say it without singing it almost. Like it is so hard not to flow into that because of how the lines fit together. Again, it's that cadence of how everything is said. It's oh, feels so good. It's so nice. Like it just tickles your brain, you know? Ear candy.
Owl City Cadence should be a term because he is just that good at it.
I mean, would that also like refer to could you almost twist that and say you've got like cadence when the fireflies come out or crickets or something? Like maybe not fireflies, but like crickets, you know, they chirp all together in
Yes.
one chorus. So
Is Cadence becoming the new Riz? You got Cadence,
you
you
got
got Owl City
cadence. Have
Cadence.
you got cadence? Oh my gosh.
Come up with just a whole slew of Owl City slang, and we're gonna be like the new cool kids. Like, oh yeah, you're saying Riz? We're saying Owl City Cadence. You
Saying
know, we're
cadence.
cooler
You
than
got
you.
cadence. You got cadence.
Yeah.
Oh my. Gonna be rizzing up some people.
You
I'm
know,
terrified.
because like Cadence, he's got a good like flow to him, and he's just like he does it really well. It's like I don't know what it would mean technically, but
It means he's got the cool. He is cool. I mean,
right?
C O
He's
O
lit.
L capital COOL. He is cool. He is the chillest man around or woman.
Yes.
But
Oh, so listening to the song, of course, Adam has his infamous, his famous. I guess infamous means it's bad, like it's well known but bad. Famous, his well known da da das in the song, and I think this actually might be the first Owl City song with the da da das in it, which is really cool and exciting. Um, to hit that in our journey of listening through the different albums in order.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was like the first one.
I find it really interesting. I was wondering how many da da das are like in this song period because he's recorded a bunch of them over the years, and I was actually going back and looking through of June, and I did not see, or I didn't see, I didn't hear any da da das or like looked. I looked at the lyrics kind of as a quick skim before we got into this episode. I didn't see any, so
Yeah,
yeah, I
of
feel like
June
this
is
is.
lacking.
I don't know how many he records in this song though, so
He makes up for it by just this song alone for how often he sings it.
absolutely, absolutely.
I told you that
Hold
Maybe I'm
up,
Dreaming
pause.
is the Owl City like origin story to his style.
It's kind of cool to be part of this historical moment for it. Um, I really also like how the guitar does a nice job of filling the empty space because without it, a lot of the song would be kind of bare bones. I don't know about what you think about that, but I don't know. He really does a good job with filling in on different instruments and stuff, and I think the guitar is really nice. That light strumming in the background.
Yeah, he does. I don't know. He's like an instrumental song genius. I don't know. He does his job well. But it's funny because you already mentioned the xylophone, but that was also in my notes because who doesn't love a twinkly xylophone? I- it sounds so nice. He doesn't use the xylophone much, but when he does, it sounds great. Also in the same vein, in the same rainbow vein, that plucky like you were just okay. Our points are very on point tonight. Because apparently that was my next point too. Was the plucky guitar was the guitar in his song, but the pluckiness of it is like everything. It really just it gives the same vibe as the xylophone, but just in a different like way. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, no. It does kind of give off the same aura, which is I guess
Yeah.
vibes, aura, same sort of thing. I didn't want to use vibes, but the same sort of aura it gives off that kind of wow. Almost if it's you're turning on a lightsaber and it goes wow. That's the kind of vibe that
Yeah.
I feel from the xylophone and the strings and everything and how it all kind of fits together. I don't know. It does give off the same aura. I like the way you said that. I like that word aura.
It's fun to
Um,
say.
I also really like the lyric, because we wasted all our free time alone. I don't know. Maybe I'm dreaming seems to have a little bit of a undertone that's a little bit melancholy, but
Yeah.
not. I mean, I haven't really noticed that before until just now, and I was like, that is kind of sad, but it does kind of talk about the good times that you know he's had with people. I guess whether it's a romantic or a friendship or something, it just kind of sums it all up, and I feel like that is reflected in this song too.
Yeah. The as we've already discussed, the lyrics in this whole album are like just on point. I don't know. My favorite lyric from this song might be the cheer up and dry your damp eyes. I don't know what it is. It's also the Owl City cadence. So he says it. That sounded a bit strange the way I said it, but
No, no, you're fine. Cheer up and dry your damp eyes. It's so pretty. It is so
it is
pretty. It's so
yes, it
pretty.
is like I don't know, it's so simple, but it's like also like not only is it the way he says it, but the lyric itself is just so cute. It's like, oh, I don't know. I just really like it. I feel like but my how I pick my favorite lyrics doesn't have much like science behind it. It's purely vibes. It's purely lyric and like the way it sounds and just the way it tickles my brain. It's just vibes alone how I pick my favorite lyrics.
I'm kind of the same way though. I mean, it's hard to listen to a song and like I mean, you could always pick it from the mindset of, oh, I like what he's saying in that, or I like how it's interpreted. But for the vibes, it's kind of encapsulates all of that at the same time. So I don't know. I feel like it's a good way to pick a favorite lyric. Nothing wrong with it. But no,
Yeah.
it's so sweet. It's the way it's said, the way it feels. Like, who is he singing to? It gives that. Who is he
Yeah.
singing to? So,
That is a yes. I want to know these answers to these questions.
oh yeah,
I would
Jackson has
really like
baby.
I would love Adam to come out with like a documentary about like the different albums. But like what was his like you know how he's done like one or two different like videos breaking down songs track by track? I want him to do more of those and just talk through each track and like discuss like the process of making it and like eh, yes, that's what I want.
Oh yeah, that would be so cute. I would love that. He does have mobile orchestra, so but that would be really sweet and really cute. Um, it's so bouncy, which makes sense. The name makes sense that it's bouncy. It's a really really fun song to listen to. It's such a joy. I don't know. Kind of the same way you're saying that you enjoy like sitting down and listening to the songs for this purpose. It This one is just so much fun. I don't listen to it very often, so it's bouncy.
Yeah, I agree. I don't listen to Super Honeymoon very often either. Like I always think it's one of those songs like it's lower on my end of Owl City songs. Like, oh, it's okay, but it's not my favorite. But every time it comes on, I'm like, this is great. Why don't I listen to this more? But
Exactly.
it's funny that your point is on the bounciness because that's the exact same term I used in my notes, which I said I love the bouncy sound at the beginning, and how that kind of carries throughout the song. I feel like our points are so like on point tonight, like so much the same that I don't know. One of us could have showed up tonight, and it might have been the same episode.
I mean, yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's both of us just talking about the same things with a few like maybe one differing point per song.
Right?
Which is so weird because we talked about
Right.
this last time and now we're just like, what is happening? What is this?
We're at that point in our friendship where we're just melding into the same person.
We are becoming the same person. That is what is happening. Okay, so there's a lot of like game sounds on Maybe I'm Dreaming. And I know that gets into Rainbow Veins, Early Birdie later on. But he really has a lot. Like, I mean, it is packed into Super Lunar Honeymoon. So I don't know. I like it. It's fun. It just really adds that bounciness and that like you know really childlike vibes that this song gives.
Yeah, I didn't notice the game sounds until I saw it in your notes, and I went back and listened to the song, and I'm like, oh, that's yeah. She's like 100% like right. They have like people say like, oh, Hello Seattle like of June version is very like 8-bit sounding, but like you could tell me that he actually took sound bites from actual like old arcade video games, and I would 100% believe you because they actually sound like that. Like legitimately, I would believe someone if they told me that. um, but my next point, I used bouncy again in my next point. I'm just going off of basically my second point, I guess. I my note is basically, or my point was, I love how the song is very bouncy and energetic. It's pretty much the same as my first point, but added to that, I like how it's like energetic, yet Adam's voice is like very soft and like dreamy and airy, and like he has like you were talking about and on the wing I think it was, where the autotune is like very soft and it's almost like somebody went over it with like an airbrush. Like that's the vibe or you get from it. And like it's that those vocals are the same for Super Honeymoon, and it's such a contrast to the super bouncy and energetic song that Super Honeymoon is. It just creates such an interesting contrast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know what you mean because it's again because it's this older version of Owl City. He's still working on that style, trying to really like capture that um vibe, this aura, this energy. Energy is a better word for it. This energy of what Owl City is. So yeah, again, you've got that softness, and that's really really nice. Um, I was the youngest son of a congressman, and everything was my fault.
Great lyric.
It is so funny. I mean, it's real, it's legitimate. Basically, like you are part of the news story because your father, your mother, whoever is in that world. Um,
Right.
so it just cracks me up, but
I do like that lyric. It's great.
it is so funny, and you don't think it'd be in this like really like gushy like dream-like love song. It's just it's trying to like give that contrast of what she is and what he is, um, and I think that's kind of fun the way he does it. But yeah.
I like how in that particular line, like the cadence of it almost sounds like pouty. It adds to the
Oh,
humor of it.
and everything was my fault. Yeah, you're right.
It sounds kind of pouty, and it adds so much to it too. But yeah, oh gosh, I'm looking at your notes, not mine. Maybe that's what our problem has been the entire time. Maybe I'm reading your notes instead of mine.
See, I'm switching back and forth, and I could see I'm seeing both of them, so they look the same to me. And I know I'm
Maybe I
switching
just stole
back.
your notes. I didn't read your notes before I wrote mine because you posted your notes before I even finished mine, but I didn't read yours, so that's not why they're the same even.
I was up at 2
But
a.m. writing those.
so so apparently my notes are just building on each other. So I love how how energetic, kind of continuing on that. I like how energetic the song sounds. Like it sounds very excited. The song sounds excited. And honestly, I feel like this is my mental soundtrack. I feel like Super Honeymoon on a deeper level is my mental soundtrack. Very bouncy and all over the place. Like all the different things Adam's listing off in the song, like, oh, she's a gymnast, she's a millionaire, she's this, and then he's like that, and then that, and like all the different things about them, and they're like, they maybe go together, but they're also just like random things he's listing off, and then like throw in the super honeymoon part, and it's like it's all very random and jumping around from bit to bit, and like it's my mental soundtrack. But I do like how like the song itself sounds excited to be here. Like the song is ready to just have a good time.
That's a great way to put it. The song is ready to have a good time. Um, no, absolutely. I was that goes along with my next point perfectly. He does really well at flowing into some emptier space to the almost overfilled. And as you were saying, like he just throws in all of this random chaos. He makes it work. It works. But it's just like, wait, what does this have to do with the other thing? And it doesn't at all. And then, of course, you've got all of this kind of conflicting, not quite conflicting, but almost conflicting, like in the back, like in the back soundtrack. And then it'll just all of a sudden go silent, and it'll just go to like a pretty simple melody in the background. So he does really well, like flowing back and forth. I kind of see what you mean by the mental chaos. I understand that sometimes.
I like how you like phrase it as being like overfilled or almost like overflowing with like sound. It's a really good way to put it because like I had the same thought when listening to it. Like I pinpointed the same thing, but I couldn't like figure out exactly what was like going on or like how to like describe it. So I'm glad that you were able to like pinpoint that because it's so very true. Especially I feel like that's a good way to describe maybe I'm dreaming in general. Like it's almost overflowing with sound, but he does it really well. So I'm glad you had that point because it fits perfectly. Um, but now because I have to, I've been trying because I feel like I, I had too many times in Of June where I didn't even discuss the lyrics for some of the songs, that I'm trying to redeem myself and actually bring up at least one lyric from each song because the lyrics are so good and I don't want to seem like I'm neglecting them and like giving the blanket answer of like, oh, they're all so good. I can't pick one because like I don't know, they are so good that I at least need to pick one lyric from each song because they're good. So my lyric, probably my favorite lyric from Super Honeymoon, is I was sick of the West when I turned 21, so I moved to the Sunshine State. Saying it, I want to sing it, but I will spare you all of that pain. So I read it. But I love that part. It is probably my favorite part. Mainly, like, it's a good lyric, but it's also got that Owl City cadence that we are talking about earlier, that Owl City cadence. And it's great. The way he sings it is perfect.
All of that fun Owl City cadence. All of that good stuff. All the goodness. All the goodness. But no, that's great. And I don't know. Sunshine State, I know that's California, right? Yeah, I know that'd be California. Unless it's Florida, but I'm pretty sure
Possibly.
it's
I don't know.
California. Because like he does talk, like I was sick of the West when I turned 21, so I moved to the Sunshine State. Yeah, I'm 99% sure that's California. Um,
Wait, isn't California on the west?
wait, you're right. Hold on, wait.
I'm Googling it
Wait,
right now
hold
because I need
on.
to know. It's Florida. It is Florida.
It's, oh, okay, wait, okay. I
So he
don't know if I
moved
thought it was
from the west
California, man.
coast, or the west
I was
to
like,
the
hold on,
east
wait,
to
west,
Florida.
west. He moved to the east. Okay. I was, for some reason, switching things in my head, because I forgot he's
It's okay.
from. But yeah, no, that's all I have to say for these three wonderful tracks. So
Yes. So, as we've already said, we greatly enjoy these tracks, but now it's time for Shuttlebus Math, which is basically us rating the songs and a very obscure vibe based math. It's not scientific math in the slightest. It's not mathematical math. It is vibe math, or as we call it since last episode, as we call it, Shuttlebus Math.
yay,
Oh,
Shuttlebus
kiddo,
Math.
how Shuttlebus Math, jazz hands. What would you rate out of 10 from like 0 to 10? What rating would you give to On the Wing?
On the wing. So I kind of thought about this more strategically than I did last time, and I went ahead and rated everything while I was listening to them. So for On the Wing, the original version, I would give it a solid 8. Um, just because it is really similar to the polished version, and he did a phenomenal job uh, with this really like core base of a song. And so yeah, I say an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. What would you give it?
So I feel like the funny thing is our ratings are almost always like very similar. Um, and it's not much different tonight. So On the Wing, I would give it probably an 8.5. Like, I don't know if it quite qualifies as a 9. It's really good, but I don't know if it quite qualifies as a 9. But at the same time, 8 almost feels too low for me because I really love the song. So I'm giving it an 8.5. And
Yeah.
then next up on our song rating for Shuttlebus Math is Rainbow Veins. Sapph, what would you give Rainbow
What
Veins?
would
Like
I?
what number would you give that? How'd you rate it?
So I would honestly, I'd give it a 9. A 9. It's very highly rated for me. Just not like just the song itself, not anything attached to it, even though I have like good memories attached to it, but the song itself, I feel like it deserves a 9. It's so nice. It's so nice. And I just really love the picture it paints, you know?
So this is the one where I haven't looked at your rating for the next song, but I feel like this is the one where our ratings are going to be quite noticeably different because I knew you were going to give Rainbow Veins a way higher rating than I was because I know you really love Rainbow Veins. I really love Rainbow Veins. It's great. Is it My absolute favorite? No, that's not to say I don't like it. I gave Rainbow Veins a 7.75, possibly? I wasn't really sure. Because it's really, really good, and it's really, really better than I remember it being. Like a lot better than I remember it being. Like mentally, it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like a 7. But it's like a lot better than I remember it being. But I feel like giving it an 8 is too close to On the Wing, and personally, I don't know if On the Wing and Rainbow Veins are that close for me, so 7.75 it is.
7.75. That is interesting. That's
It's
really
pretty
interesting.
oddly specific.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's fine. That's fine. It just, that is the first for sure. Um, but hey, if that's fine. That's fine. That's not a bad rating at all. That's a really good rating.
And then last on tonight's list is Super Honeymoon. What would you give, what rating would you give Super Honeymoon?
All right, so it's not that it is a bad song because I love it. It's great. It's kind of the same thing for me that Rainbow Veins is for you. It's not my absolute favorite out of the ones that we've discussed. So I'm going to give it a 7.5. But it is really, really fun. It's one of those songs you just kind of kick on, or it comes on and shuffle and you're happy and you're surprised. For me, it's just like it is a feel good song, but it's not something that I would like all of a sudden say I have a hankering to listen to Super Lunar Honeymoon. You know?
Yeah, I feel like that's a good way to put it. I will say it's ranking higher than I thought. If I had to like blindly give Super Honeymoon a ranking or a rating without listening to it first, I would have assumed I would have given it like a 6.5. Because like it's good, but it's not my favorite. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm giving it a 7 or a 7.5 because I still really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought it would. And it's pretty good. It's a lot of fun.
Okay,
But yeah, I
so
think that uh, you know, I don't know. Our logic or math, at least my math for this doesn't have a lot of logic going into it. It's basically vibes. So, take my ratings with a grain of salt, maybe. Unless you enjoy the ratings, unless you agree with my ratings, then I guess go with them. I don't know.
everybody can take like whatever they want from the ratings or not. They
If you
don't
don't
have to.
like
It's
them, just take
fine.
them with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's
If you
fine.
do
Like,
like them, fully agree with me. I don't care.
yeah, this is just our take, and that's why we do these podcasts. Is just because we enjoy giving our thoughts. So have you got anything else to say?
No, I think that I think we did pretty good for a first part to maybe I'm dreaming. I can't wait to continue discussing this in future episodes over the next few episodes. How many? Yeah, 5 episodes. I think this is a 5-part series. It's the
Yeah,
next 4 episodes. I'm excited to discuss. Maybe I'm dreaming. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
absolutely. Yeah, no, me too. Absolutely, me too. And I just want to thank everybody so much for joining us tonight for the what is this, the 13th, 14th episode? Is it the 14th
This might be
episode?
this might be the
I
14th.
didn't look at my notes
I
beforehand.
have
I should have, but
lost track.
I think it's the
Um,
14th episode. My, this
yeah,
is
because I'm
going
pretty
long.
sure last episode was 13th.
Yeah,
Yes, it's the 14th episode.
that's crazy.
14.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for the 14th episode. We're gonna call it that of Shuttlebus Podcast. Don't forget that you can follow us on Instagram at shuttlebus_podcast for more Owl City related content. You can also ride along with us next episode as we discuss. I messed up on the part. Let me figure out. As we discuss the Saltwater Room, the original version, a brief overview of Early Birdie, and air traffic. Yeah, we have
Ooh.
discussed Early Birdie before, just because it was actually our debut episode. So, if you would like to click on that link, you can go and find it and listen to a longer version if you'd like. But if not, we're going to give a little bit of a quick idea of our thoughts on it. um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And for now, this is Sapph and
Faith.
saying goodbye. Goodbye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody. Bye. We'll see you next time.
Woohoo!
Or I don't know how that works, but yes, bye.
Bye.